Time no longer, chapter 10, Megiddo. The seventh angel now sounds his trumpet, and we are rapidly swept into woe number 3. Comes quickly after woe number 2. As we have recently reviewed, woe number 2 recounts the large, tragic slaughter and resultant Holocaust of World War II. After the close of World War II, there continues to exist an uneasy state of peace, a Cold War of rhetoric, with its attendant arms escalation and minor skirmishes. True, there were minor wars, and these continue, but worldwide conflict has been avoided, actually shunned by all the major players. The reason for this are myriad, but one stands out above the rest. And in the same hour was there a great earthquake, and a tenth of the part of the city fell. Revelation 11:13. What earthquake occurred at the end of World War II? Only one comes to mind. And this earthquake was a man-made one. When the bomb bays of the Enola Gay opened up, and Fat Man and Little Boy stepped out into the cool Japanese air, history took a fateful turn. The earthquake of destruction will never be forgotten. If you walk the streets of Nagasaki today, it appears on the surface to be like any other modern city. But if you are fortunate enough to visit the Atomic Bomb Museum, you come to the uncomfortable realization that this city and this world can never be the same. The destructive force of this atomic blast is still very difficult to fathom. And this was a little bomb. The Japanese people realized that they easily could be wiped from the face of the earth, never to be heard from again. Their race and culture would be forever erased from this planet. Even with their undying commitment to the war and victory at any cost, they couldn't tolerate oblivion. They begrudgingly surrendered in 1945 on the deck of the battleship Missouri. Although without a world war, this period remains one of constant strife and turmoil. A stable, unstable state exists. Since World War II, there have been minor outbreaks of war on almost a constant basis. There always seems to be a war somewhere in the world, but not everywhere in the world. As with little kids, there is always fighting and scuffling, but no major clash. The world now seems far too crowded to be free from war and its awful consequences. With the development of nuclear weaponry and the emergence of the United States as the lone superpower, war on a worldwide scope does not seem possible. But children will be children. Small outbreaks will continue to flare with an almost constant regularity. The world never is completely free from war and bloodshed, but like the Japanese, its people will not tolerate oblivion. Thus it has always been in the world of human history. At this point, after the sounding of the seventh trumpet, the kingdoms of this world begin their downward spiral course into the oblivion they so desperately want to avoid. God will soon after assume his eternal reign. The temple is opened and the dead are now judged. The Ark of the Testament is seen, and there are lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. This is a brief description of what occurs until the end of time and actually beyond. Revelation 11:19 refers to the terrible events, those 7 last plagues, including the third woe. This will be the most terrible woe of the 3, in fact difficult to imagine given the horror of the first 2 woes. This most terrible of woes is called Armageddon. The little valley of Megiddo in northern Palestine will be the site of the greatest battle in world history. It is on a plain in Palestine that is natural locale for a major battle. It extends from the river Jordan to the Mediterranean Sea. It also has natural borders between the mountains of Carmel and the Sea of Galilee. God abhors bloodshed. He would not let David build his temple due to David's life of killing and combat. Rather, he chose David's son Solomon to build the magnificent temple in Jerusalem. God did not want his beloved holy city of Jerusalem to be the scene of so great and gruesome a battle, so he chose to move the site north, away from the city, to the peaceful little valley of Megiddo. Why not fight this battle in the Western Hemisphere, where at that time, the world power will be concentrated. Lest we forget, a key in modern warfare is oil. We only need return a few years and review Desert Storm. No nation, especially the most powerful, was in any way ready to concede control of the vast Middle Eastern oil resources. These reserves are enormous, and the Mediterranean Sea is easily accessible. With all this black gold close by, the final conflict can be decided on the soil of God's chosen people. When world oil control was threatened by Iraq, the world quickly moved to restore order. No one must tamper with the major world's players' access to those reserves. We will learn in Revelation 17:12 that God will dry up all these massive oil reserves, rendering his foe a crippling blow in the final battle of Armageddon. There have been put forth some scientific theories that humanity itself will use up those reserves in the years prior to that great battle. In any event, the oil will run out, and time will finally run out on the devil and his evil brigade. On July 1, 1863, America and the world saw how a sleepy little town in southern Pennsylvania became the inevitable site of this country's grandest and most decisive battlefield. All roads led into that city. It was impossible to change the venue, and it will be impossible to change the venue of Megiddo. All roads lead to Megiddo, east, west, north, south. This peaceful little plain will be awakened by the conflict to end all conflicts, the final battle of Armageddon.